Crappie fishing is all about catching lots of fish and also keeping a few for the table. Anglers north and south agree it's hard to beat a fish fry featuring a mess of freshly caught crappie. On this week's Fishing 411 TV, executive producer Mark Romanack visits Central Florida to target black crappie from the sluggish waters of the St. Johns River system. Mark enlists the help of his lifelong fishing buddy Dale Voice, who spends the winter months trolling jigs for slab crappie. Thanks to a few eagle claw laser sharp jigs and some colorful twister tail grubs, the boys are enjoying one heck of a fish fry in no time.
Hey, fish on.
Looks like a thumper.
I got across the line here.
Which one are we worried about?
This one right here.
All right, get that out of your way here, Dale.
For
get
sure.
that out of your way.
On these light rods, you know you got a fish on there, I'll tell you that. He's ready, Mark. There, he's still got a line.
There we go. Not bad though.
Not bad.
The colors on that fish, man.
We're fishing the St. Johns River system in Central Florida. We're approximately 40 miles west of Daytona Beach and about 35 miles east of Ocala. The St. Johns River is kind of unique in that it's a south to north running river, and it's also the biggest river in Florida. It's about 310 miles long. And the river runs from the Orlando area all the way up and empties into the Atlantic near Jacksonville.
We're doing something that you may never have done before. It's called pulling, or some guys call it this long line jig fishing. And we're just moving along real slow with the electric motor, and I mean real slow, and dragging some very small jigs. And as you can see, it seems to work pretty good at getting these crappie to bite.
And that,
why not? Why not? I don't want to
get your net man in here.
Yeah. Look there.
Ooh, that is a nice one.
So far, so good. Dale, these about average size, or I know you catch bigger?
Yeah, those are about average size. Those are good size for the grease, but we'll get bigger today.
Okay. Well, very cool. I'll definitely look forward to that. But being a Michigan boy, my way of looking at it, that's a nice slab crappie right there, no questions. And not many Michigan guys will throw that one back. That's a beautiful fish. Well, the basic technique that we're doing here is something that local folks call pulling. If you're from the north, you would say, well, that's just trolling. Well, technically, we are just flat line or long line trolling. Everything's straight out the back. But the local crappie guys refer to it as pulling. And the reason they call it pulling is because there's another technique we'll talk a little bit about today that's called pushing, which is similar but slightly different. But for right now, all of our jigs are straight out the back, right out the back of the boat, anywhere from 40 to 60 feet back, and fishing anywhere from 2 to 4 feet down below the surface. So we're just long line pulling to catch these crappie.
I think I'm probably going to let him grow up.
This is kind of cool going on here. I've got, I'm fighting a fish here, and I got another fish in my down rod right there. You got to love that when that happens. And this is a decent fish here in the back. Dale, I don't know if we should alley-oop him or not. I'm going to try alley-ooping him, and I'm going to pay the price. Oh boy, I'm going to just have to grab the line and pull him in straight.
You'll get it.
If I can get that line, we'll see if that's one I'd be not careful. I'd pop the leader on that one. We'll hold him up here. We'll take him one at a time. That is a solid fish right there. Look at that light on that fish. Isn't that beautiful? Man, love that sunshine on these crappies. Woo, baby. We should, I'll just lay him down on the floor here for a second. We'll see if this other one's still there. Oh yeah. Dale, can I count this as a double header?
You certainly can.
Oh,
actually, you can say triple because I just landed.
Double slabs. That's a nice one too.
Ooh. I'd help you, but I got a little bit of a tangle mess here, and I hate to let go of it, or I'm going to make it worse.
Dale actually had a fish on his side going too that got him all tangled up there. So look at that sunshine on that fish. I am a happy camper.
Special considerations are provided by Precision Trolling Data and the Lake St. Clair Walleye Association. Special considerations provided by the Ultimate Sport Show Tour, Michigan's elite sport shows.
You can get that there, I'll take that one. Crappie. See if I can keep this one between the lines. This is my teacher always used to tell me when I was coloring.
You need a net back there, Dale?
I think I'll need a net, Mark.
All right. You got this one right where you need it. Oh, come to pop him. Got him. Nice fish, Dale. That's a nice fish.
There we go.
All right, we'll get this out of your way.
Beautiful. Boy, these are like cookie cutters right now. All running, I guess, at 11.5, just a shade under 12 or very close to 12.
Well, if you wonder what these crappie feed, they're actually a predator fish, and they're primarily targeting natural minnows here. Real skinny, thin minnows, and I think that's a pretty good reason why the presentation we're using is so successful. We're using 2-inch twister tails, and a 2-inch twister tail is just about exactly the same size as what these minnows are, and so we're matching the hatch very nicely, using some colors that are very visible in this coffee-stained water here. So these crappies just stuff themselves with these small minnows. So if you're using something that replicates a minnow, you're probably going to catch some good crappies.
Not a huge one again. Got a lot of small fish right now. It seems like they come in bunches. So that's all right, it keeps us busy. Pretty soon these small ones will turn into big ones. That one's actually a little bigger than what you think.
That's about all you can lift right there,
That's
Dale.
about as big as you want to lift them over the side like that.
I'm betting that you end up putting that one in the tank.
I think you're right. that one will make the grease.
Our basic setup here, what we're calling for pulling or long line, and we've got an 8-rod program that we're dealing with. And I'll start here, and the first one that's on my left. This is my down rod. This happens to be my longest rod. It's 11 foot, and it's almost straight out to the side, so 11 foot out and then down. My next rod is a 9-foot rod, and as you can see, I've got the rod holder angled just a little bit more, and of course the jig is straight back from behind there. And then we come here to a 8-foot rod, so we've gone 11, 9, 8, and our straight back rod down here in the corner is 7 foot. And the reason for fluctuating the rod lengths is it allows us to get some separation between those jigs. They're all running straight out behind the back of the boat, and there's about 4 foot of spacing between them. Helps with the tangles and also helps cover a little bit more water when you're pulling for crappie.
We must have hit a little school or something. Mark just had a hit, and within seconds of that hit, one hit on this side. Again, not a very big one. Oh, he's acting like he's big.
He's got ambition of growing up to be big. Giving you a pretty good tussle though.
He's actually bigger
than you thought,
he's
Dale.
bigger than I thought he was.
Yeah.
We're going to put a net. I'm kind of afraid to lift him up.
We're going to help you with that one. I think.
There we go.
Beautiful. He popped off, but I got him in the net.
That's the way I like the release. Did you notice that?
So I kept him in the net there for you.
Very good.
I'll hold him up for you.
I got another rod here, but that's all right.
That's actually a very nice crappie. I mean, you got to realize I'm a northern boy. We don't see big crappies on a regular basis, and that'd be the biggest fish I'd catch all day if I was home, you know, fishing crappies in Michigan. I'd be happy to catch one that big.
That's beautiful.
So special. I love it. Of course, you know, we've talked about the fact that crappies are predators, and anytime you're targeting a predator species, you want to have a scent stream in the water, and the scent stream that you use needs to be something that's natural, that smells like what crappie you're feeding on. And so we use a lot of ProCure. You've seen us using it on the show many times in the past, and they have different formulas. The crappie and panfish formula that I'm using here is a mixture of minnows, so it's very ideally suited for what we're doing now. Put a scent stream in the water, make that twist your tail look and smell good. That's the beauty of catching all these crappie. ProCure, you just can't beat it. It helps us put more fish in the box.
The limit here in Florida is 25 crappie per person per day. And it's obviously a pretty strong fishery to support something like that, and that just seems like an awful lot of fish to me. Technically, legally, I can catch 25 fish every day. Well, it doesn't take long. That's a pretty big hit on the fishery when you consider there's 20, 25 boats out here every day doing that. So I personally have limited myself to, my wife and I can't eat more than 10 fillets at a time. Even these bigger ones, that's way more than what we can eat. So my daily limit is usually 5 fish. Doesn't mean I quit fishing after 5. I just keep 5 fish that I think are worthy of the frying pan, and then that's all I put in the live well. The rest of them I let go.
Special considerations are provided by Trailmaster Trailers and Daiwa Corporation. Special considerations are provided by ProCure, ruthlessly effective bait scents. Eagle Claw presents the 411 on fishing.
You know, I'm just pulling the boat off the water after a great day of fishing, and it's our job as anglers to help stop the spread of all different types of invasive species. So there's a regiment that I go through to clean my boat before I leave every single time I pull the boat. The first thing that I like to do when I pull the boat out of the water is just simply inspect the trailer, inspect the boat for any weeds. If there's any weeds on the trailer, I go ahead and I pull those all off. The next thing that I do is just wipe the boat completely down, and the reason for that is it does a great job of stopping the spread of anything that might be stuck on the boat going from lake to lake. So I wipe the boat down. The beautiful thing of that is it keeps all the water spots off your boat as well. Now, another thing that I do that's very important is I pull the plug on my boat. Every time I pull my boat out of the water, I go ahead and I pull that plug out. That way, if there's any water that's left in the bilge of my boat, it drains out on the highway as I'm going down the road. Now, the last thing that I like to do is I actually like to put just a little bit of bleach inside my live well. Now, if the live well is full because you have fish in there, when I get home, the very first thing I do is just add a little bit of bleach in that live well. But if it's empty, the one thing I do is pull the plug, add just a little bit of bleach and a little bit of water, and it cleans out anything that might be inside that live well. Look at it like this. I don't want anything that's in my boat as far as weeds, water, or anything like that going to the next lake with me. So if we all as anglers do our part, we can really try to help stop the spread of these aquatic invasive species.
Dale, I'm going to grab your rod here if you don't mind, since you're preoccupied. So, Dale, what's the problem here? Your reel handles are on the wrong side. I don't know what to do here. I have to figure out a way to reel the opposite-handed. So, oh man, what a mess this one's going to be. This fish is very athletic. He went across all of Dale's lines, and now he's going across my lines. So, I guess we'll deal with it.
I leave my lines for just a minute and let Mark tangle them all up.
That's exactly what's happening. So,
holy cow.
I got them all, Dale. I pretty much got them all.
You need a net too?
Why not? We might as well put that craziness into the mix here too. So, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I better get my reading glasses out. It's going to take me a while to untangle this.
It's not bad, I don't think.
Yeah, he says it's not bad. That's like one of my nicer fish I've caught today. And it took out every single line in the process. And we'll talk a little bit about that because there is a system that you can use that makes it a little bit easier to clear these out once you get them tangled. Well, occasionally you're going to catch a fish that's going to entangle some of the other lines. When you're pulling and everything is long line out the back, it's inevitable you're going to tangle lines. But usually the tangles are pretty simple to undo. One of the things that helps is that you notice we're using fluorescent line. Our main line is fluorescent line, but our leaders are clear fluorocarbon. But those fluorescent lines make it much easier for us to try to steer fish around. But if you do get tangled, fluorescent line, it's much easier to untangle because you can see it. If you get a real bad snarl, what I would recommend doing is cutting the line right at the jig and then threading your leader through, and that line will come through real nice and easy. It only takes a couple of seconds to retie the jig on. So if you do get in a bad mess, popping that leader right at the jig and retying is going to save you a lot of time and effort. But don't freak out. You're going to get some tangles, but the quality of the fish you're going to catch is well worth the hassles of a few tangles here and a few tangles there. I think we might have one on our inline planer board. We set out a what's called an awesome crappie board here a little bit ago, and just to get a little bit more coverage and see if we could catch them on a board. And lo and behold, looks like we might have one here. So I think this is gonna, what I'm gonna do, Dale, I'll bring that board up and have you clip it off for me.
That's my job. Good offensive lineman.
Okay. Oh yeah, there's a fish on there. Not necessarily a big one, but well, it's kind of cool that we catch one on the presentation. It's a little bit different than what we've been doing here. It's not a lot different. It's still a jig.
That's a decent
come to
fish.
pop. That's a decent
Not
fish.
bad.
Again, we're still pulling jigs. But I used a planer board to get it out to the side. And this one happens to be an attractor jig. Very popular name in the world of crappie is a Blakemore Roadrunner. Everybody who fishes crappie has heard of the Blakemore Roadrunner. And that's all it is, 1/32, a little bit of an attractor on there, twister tail. Set it back out 40 to 50 feet like we've been doing all of our other leads. Clipped a small board on it. It's called the Ultimate Crappie Board. Let it go out to the side. Got us a bonus fish. That's a beautiful thing. You know, most of the guys who crappie fish in long line would describe this as an inexact science, but I would argue that if you know where your gear is running in the water, it can be a very precise science. We're using a phone app called Precision Trolling Data, and what it does is it tells us what line diameters to use, how much lead length to let out, and what speeds to troll at in order to get our jigs to very specific depths in the water column. For example, today we're catching fish 4 feet down below the surface. So when I consult the app, it tells me to get 4 feet down, I need to go 1 mile an hour with a 1/32 ounce jig, and I need to let out exactly 50 foot of 6-pound test. And when we do that, we're able to control where our jigs are in the water column. So if you know where your gear is fishing in the water column, you can be very precise in your ability to target these fish, even when you're long line jigging.
Special considerations are provided by Cisco Fishing Systems and Striker brands. Go early, go late, go prepared. Additional considerations provided by Fishhawk Electronics. Trolling without a fishhawk is called boating.
Let's talk for a second about what makes an ideal crappie fishing boat. When you look around here, you're going to see a lot of different boats being put into crappie fishing action. But in my mind, the ideal boat is something that's about 18 to 20 foot long, could be even a little smaller than that, let's say 16 to 20 foot long, and a modified V platform. A lot of the modified V aluminum bass boats tend to make very, very good crappie boats. Flat bottom boats also can be very effective at crappie fishing as well. What you're looking for is a nice open floor plan, a big open cockpit. The boat we're in right now is a Smokercraft 1866 Sportsman. And when you look around, you got lots of room in the back of the boat here, and that's where you're going to be spending the majority of your time, is at the back of the boat when you're pulling. So that's the style of boat you're looking for. Something that's going to range anywhere from that $20,000 to maybe $30,000, $35,000 range, well equipped. And when I mean well equipped, there's one thing you absolutely have to have on a crappie boat. You have to have an autopilot guided electric motor. And that's what's allowing us to pull perfectly straight and keep a course and keep our jig straight out behind us. If you didn't have an autopilot electric motor, you'd be constantly steering and spending all your time navigating the boat. With the autopilot electric motor, all I have to do is set it to run, walk away. Makes fishing a lot more fun. When he gets close, Dale, if you need a net, you holler.
All right.
And I'll be your net man.
He's coming in pretty easy, so I don't think he's a giant.
Looks pretty good fish to me.
He's a little bigger than what I lift.
He looks pretty good to me.
He's in that same category as those 12s.
You're a giant in your butterfly net here, so I make fun of Dale's net because it looks like it's something you catch butterflies in, not fish.
Just catch nice, beautiful crappie.
Butterfly net. Well, Bill, I think we got another one here.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we're looking for.
Another good representative fish. Man, I could talk about cookie cutters. These things have literally all been about the same size.
Boy, they all been
Quality fish.
That's a nice fish.
I'm going to see if I can lift him in here. Oh, I probably shouldn't have done that, man. That's putting the absolute max on this 6-pound test line. And that jig just popped out of there, but boy, that is absolutely a solid crappie. I love it. Man, I don't know that we can have more fun than this. I really don't. Thank you, Dale. Thank you a million times for sharing this with us.
My absolute pleasure.
Hey, well, my name is Mark Romanack, and you've been watching Fishing 411. I'd like to thank my friend Dale Boyce for putting this on some of his pet crappie. We'll see you here same time, same place next week. Hallelujah.
Closed captioning is provided by Lakeside Motorsports, Michigan's premier marine and power sports company. Fishing 411 is brought to you by Offshore Tackle, Lowrance Electronics, Starcraft Marine, Yamaha Outboards, Yakima Bait Company, Niagara Falls, USA, Smooth Moves, and Jay's Sporting Goods.
Dale, what's the problem here? Your reel handles are on the wrong side. I don't know what to do here. I have to figure out a way to reel